Hey, fellow crafters, it's Carol from Carol's Creative Corner. How are you doing? How was your summer? I hope it's going well. I have been busy stamping and doing classes and also emptying out my basement. So this little craft table is the only thing I have left, and then I'm working on some 6-foot tables. So don't have a start date for when we're going to start the basement, but it's getting close. We got a quote and we're reviewing the quote, and so hopefully soon we should get started, and that'll be exciting. So anyway, today I wanted to show you a how to take one of your blossoms and blooms die cuts and make 2 cards out of 1 die cut. And so I had a class that used that did this card that I'm going to show you, as well as a couple more. And so I'm going to, over the course of a little bit of time here, show you how to do all of the cards. If I forget to mention any of the products that I used or any of the dimensions, just know that it is out there on my Facebook page. I'm sorry, my website, Carol's Creative Corner. Just go to the blog, and there's a product library or a project library, and just pick this card. You'll see pictures of all the cards. Just pick this card, and it'll take you right to the tutorial. So that's the easiest way to find it. All right, so I am going to go ahead and let's get started, and I'll show you the card and then how to make it. All right, so let me switch over to my little camera here. So this is the card that we're going to make, and so this is the Blossoms and Bloom die, and we're using the Flowers for Every Season, Memories and More cards and envelopes. So what you get with that is you get each one of these beautiful colors of cardstock. They're a little bit bigger than A2 size, and then they have already designed on it this beautiful dotted rectangle. So some of the cards, and especially this one, you can see we take advantage of that design element on this card. So also why I like the Memories and More pack, not only because I love the end colors, but look at these great envelopes. I just love that they're already decorated on the inside to give your project that added touch. So that's what I am using for each of these cards. It was a class using these Memories and More cards and envelopes, and so this is the card that we're going to create today. So the products that I used on this card, obviously, is the cards and envelopes, Memories and More, Flowers for All Season, Memories and More cards and envelope pack, and then of course we use the lovely Many Layers Blossoms dies. So this is the thicker part, the light blue part, and then this is the outline die for the Misty Moonlight outline that was used on this card. And then of course it comes with a couple of flowers made the same way. This one is an outline one, and then this one is a Seaside Spray, and we did use that on this card in the corner. So we use that. Also, we used for the Let's Celebrate You, one of my favorite sets, and Ann Sangs is the Celebrate Sunflower stamp set, and we use this stamp, Let's Celebrate You, because this stamp, just Let's Celebrate You, could be used for birthday, could be used for congratulations, for any any occasion where you just want to celebrate that person for who they are. So love this set. So that's what we used. And then we also, the last product used were the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I get a lot of use out of them, and we used the biggest triangle on this, and as you can see, we cut out a white die cut a white rectangle for this card. So those were the products that we used, and of course we're going to use the Misty Moonlight card, and for the outline we use Misty Moonlight cardstock, and for the light blue it's Seaside Spray cardstock. So just a very monochromatic card. So what I first did was to take the die, and so here I cut the die out for you in advance. Now what I did with the outline, because I don't like to spend a lot of time patiently applying glue, I am an advocate for the adhesive sheets. So when I die cut this, I applied one of our adhesive sheets to the back of this the cardstock, and then I ran it through the Big Shot. And so, so now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to apply the outline to this, to the first die cut here. So what I like about the adhesive sheets is that I can just peel it off, and what it does while it's peeling off is that it takes some of those pieces and parts with it. I wish I could just use this piece, but sometime I might, because that is gorgeous just by itself. Okay, so I've got when I took off that adhesive sheet, it took off most of the inside pieces. Not all of them though. So before I adhere it to the first sheet, I'm just going to poke these out with my pick-a tool. Take a pick tool, I think it's called exactly. And I'm going to make sure that inside these little squares that everything has been popped out. And I'm just going to do that before I apply it to the first die cut. So almost got them out. Here we go. All right, I think they're all out, and sometimes they get stuck to the back because now the back is sticky. And I try not to get my fingers too much on the adhesive just so that I don't take any of the stick off, but it's pretty forgiving. All right, so I think all of those are off. And so the way I line this up is I find these outside leaves, and I find out which end goes on top. And so I start with lining up one of those top leaves. So I just adhere it, and then I go around each and every petal on the outside and just line this up. The rest of it will fall into place once I get those leaves, the edges all lined up. I just go around, line up these edges, and they move a little bit too. It sticks really well, but it's also a little bit forgiving. So like that one I moved over just a little bit. And I'm going to go around to the rest of it. And there we go. And so that is, now I just press down, get rest of the adhesive, and now our beautiful die cut is ready for our craft project. Now on this card, we do also have a little flower. So let's do that at the same time while we're doing this card. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to the back, take off the adhesive. I'm doing that with my fingers, but I could do it with my pick-a tool, and I think I might have to. So let's see, take a pick tool, I think they call it. There we go. And see, those inside pieces came right out, which is fabulous. And now when I cut this die cut out, I took an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and on the 8.5 side, I cut it right down at 4 1/4. And this allowed me to perfectly fit this die cut on there and put the adhesive sheets on one full side of half a sheet of that paper. So, okay, and now we've got this. We just need to find how to line that up so the flower outline fits the correct way. And once we find that, we'll just adhere it down. So let's see now. Here we go. I think this is it. Here we go. Okay, I'm working it. I'm still working this. There it is. There, we got it lined up. All right. It doesn't look lined up though. You know, there are 2 flowers that come with this, and I've never tested it, whether they're exactly the same or they're different. And I'm wondering whether they're actually different, and I picked up the wrong bottom. I think that's the case. So here we go. This one lines up very well. So I think the 2 flowers are not exactly alike. Even though you can cut 2 flowers at the same time, they're not exactly alike. Okay, so now we've got that completely lined up. Now, this is the showcase for the card, and so what I want to make this die useful for 2 cards. So what I do is I'm going to cut at a diagonal. I'm going to just snip off this one leaf here. It's connected right here. I'm going to snip this off. I'm going to use a long blade scissors because I want to make a straight cut diagonally through this leaf here, and I'm going to go up to this leaf, and I'm going to go on this side so that I have one long leaf for one card and one long leaf at the bottom for the other cards. So I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and cut this beautiful die. All right. And then I have to go around this little leaf to actually get it to be into two pieces. So now we've got two pieces, and both of them will fit on one of these cards, and each one will be used for a different card. And you'll never notice that the two sides are not equal. They look equally as beautiful. So I will get our cardstock out, and we're ready to start assembling our card. So I just, here's the card, and I cut out the big scalloped rectangle, and look how beautifully that fits right in the middle. So I did not pop it up on dimensionals at all. I did use dimensionals on the little sentiment that we're going to put on. So this one will get it here directly to the card. So there we go. And then the next piece that we'll do is put one of these beautiful die cuts onto the flower, onto the card. So what I did is I lined up the edge with this stitching. That's how, and then of course I centered it from top to bottom as well, so that the leaf wouldn't be off the card. So we're going to center it about right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, it doesn't have to be completely glued down. I'm just going to take some of the key edges, enough to give it stick. And actually, I don't glue these pieces because I actually like them a little bit loose. It just gives it a little bit of flexibility. So here I am just doing some random gluing. And then we'll be ready to go. So here, and what I do is, I don't know if you can see, but there is some glue. You can see some shiny spots in here. And so what I usually do with our adhesives is I just move that away with my fingers, because I just don't like using an eraser to get it out, especially on a delicate die. I'd rather get most of it out before I actually put it on the paper. And I can see a little bit more here. So I just take my finger and it just scrapes off pretty nicely. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put this along the stitched line. There we go, and adhere it. The next piece that we're going to do is, we've got our sentiment, and I think I use this out of the Ornate Layers dies. I've got this stitched rectangle, and then I stamped it in the Misty Moonlight ink. So this one, though, we're actually going to flip over, and we're going to mount it with dimensionals on each side so that it kind of straddles over the flower nicely. So there, that looks pretty good. And you do have to take the backing off in order for it to stick. So that's what I'm going to do next. And let's see, I'm going to move that up a little bit. Make sure that it's straight, and that looks beautiful. And then we're going to go ahead and put our flower on now. And we'll put a little adhesive on the back of the flower, and we'll stick it to the edge of this. And then we have two final accent pieces. I love accent pieces. And one of them is so small, it may have disappeared on me. But one of them, I'm going to put a little pearl right in the middle of center of this flower. And then I'll also add a little bow. So here we go. We're going to add a little pearl to the middle of this flower, and then to adhere the bow, which I tied, and look at that beautiful glitter ribbon, which we're still carrying from last year, and I'm so happy about that because it's just gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and put a glue dot on the back, and then put it along the side there, where it's not going to mess up with the words or interfere with the words. And there we go. And there's your completed card. And then the next card will look very similar, right? And its floral will be a little bit smaller, but it'll still be just as gorgeous of a card. So that's how you take your one Blossom and Bloom die and make 2 cards out of it. And the Memories and More pack is perfect for this die. And splitting it in half because it's a little bit longer than an A2, which completely fits the die. So I hope you like that card. I love this card, and you can see how easy, besides the time it took to put the adhesive on the back of the cardstock and die cut, other than that, and this little bit of stamping, it's a fairly easy but beautiful card to put together. So I hope you did enjoy that. All right, so that is what I had for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I wanted to let you know that I am going to have a fall card to go class in September. That'll be September 17th, 18th, and 19th. And then also reserve October 3rd. It's a Saturday. It's card making day, and we're going to have an online retreat. My friend and fellow demonstrator Kelly Burkhardt and I have always hosted the last couple of years an in-person retreat, but with today's times, we will be holding it remotely. And so we will make it as interactive as possible. We'll have some demos, and we'll have a sign-up sheet so that you can get all your goodies in advance of the retreat. And we'll also have prizes like we always do. So I hope that you can make it. Please reserve it on your calendars if you can. Have a great evening, and for all of those who have kids in school, I feel your pain. My kids are all grown, but I can't imagine if I was still working what that must be like for you to have to worry about school, getting your kids educated, and also stay healthy at the same time. So my best to all of you. Happy crafting, and we'll talk to you again next week. Thanks much. Bye.